Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back with another project. This is Lulwa Tech Design, and of course, I am your boy Lulwa TV, or you can call me Lulwa Mark. So we have been doing projects in Revit, that's architectural design, and we did 2 projects so far, and we did them to completion. So I have come back with another project that I believe it's going to teach you a lot in Revit and a general architectural design. We're going to do 2 floors as usual because we want to understand how a bigger space can be modified and made functional. That's why I want to start another project, and at the end of this project I feel we can be able to achieve something like this design you are seeing on your screen. We shall be able to model the house to this level, and you'll be able to understand how to use different tools in Revit. You'll know how to use sweep, you'll know how to use extrusion, you know how to edit walls, you know how to do edit profile. You'll understand how to set floors, you understand how to set the walls thickness and all those stuffs, and at the end of the day we shall be able to become good architects as we learn different kind of uh, aspects of design. This is a modern contemporary design, and I am glad that we are starting this. I believe you will stick with us until the end of this project, and not waste a lot of your time. We are going straight to Revit, and my Revit is here. It is open, but I've not opened the new project. So if this is your first time to open a Revit, this is Revit 2024. When you want to open a new project, you'll come to this new tab. You just click on it. It will give you this. As usual, you click on this drop down. It will show you these different templates. For me, I will choose architectural template. However, if you can't see these templates here, you come to browse. When you click on browse, it will bring you to this menu. From here, you're supposed to click on this button. When you click on it, you come and choose English here. When you select English, you click open. It will give you these options. Then you come to the default metric. It will show you these 4 dots that are showing elevations. So when you click open, it will give you the same template that we are choosing from the other options. So for me, I have the template, so I will not go with this procedure. I will just click cancel. Then I'll come here. Of course, I've chosen my architectural template, and I will click OK. So when you are done with that, this is what you are going to see. It will open up the Revit interface for you. So this is the Revit interface, and on our left you see the properties, and on our right you see project browser. If you don't see your project, most times the project browser will appear down here where the properties end, but you can just drag it and drop it this way. For example, if I drag this project browser here, I can place it anywhere I want. So sometimes it sits here just like this. So you'll be wondering where your project browser is, because most people get used to having it on the right side of the interface. So you can just grab it here like this. You bring it here. You push it where you see it shows that blue line. You drop it there. It will appear. So this is how you can move around your project browser for your easy access, and of course for your easy work. So we're going to start by creating our floor plans, that the elevations. So the floor plans are here. There's also ceiling plan, there's 3D view, the elevation. So if you want to set your floors, you come to this elevation, you click on the plus button. Sorry about that. You click on the plus button, you can select any of these sides. So I'll just double click on the east. You see your levels here. So level 0 is always the ground floor. Level 1 is mostly the roof level. But of course, we are going to create our own levels with our own dimensions. So what we are going to do, we are going to start renaming these levels. For you to rename this level, you just click on the line. It will make it active. You can double click on the name. It will allow you to edit. So we're going to edit this as the ground floor. So you just write ground floor like that, and you leave it at 0 because that's always the step where it starts from. Then we're going to click on the upper level. We shall right click on it, and we said this is the first floor. This is going to be our first floor. And then we're going to change the height from 4,000 to 3.5 meters. That is 3,500 millimeters. So our measurements, these measurements are shown here in millimeters, but in meters, this is 3.5. But here we go with millimeters. So this is our first floor. We need to create a floor for a level for our foundation, also a level for our roof. So we can when you come up here in the menu tab, when you go all the way to the right, you will see levels here, and the shortcut is LL. That's where you can get levels. So if I click on LL, or I come here, I click on level, it will make this thing active so that I can draw another level. So I'll just come here and draw another level like this. So this is going to be my foundation. When you want to escape from any command, for example, if a command is active, you want to escape, you can use the escape key, or you right click on your keyboard, you press cancel, you press cancel until you see the command is gone, so that you can do another command. So we're going to click here and rename this our foundation. This is going to be our foundation level. Now, if you realize our foundation is negative 1.5, I did this purposely because general standard foundations are supposed to be negative 1.5 meters down, but that is not the limit. Foundations depth depend on the type of soil. If your soil is rocky, you may have a foundation less than this. And if you have a soft soil, your foundation will be deeper than this. So don't think this is the limit for any foundation depth. So this depends really on the type of soil, but the standard is negative 1.5. That is if all conditions are normal, you can have that kind of foundation. So we're going to have another floor from the first floor to the roof. That's where we shall have our roof. And instead of going to levels, there's also another way you can create this. Instead of wasting a lot of time going to levels, you can just click on this. You come to these three kind of I don't know how I can say this, but it's a tab that can create for you something similar to what you have clicked on. So if I click on this create similar, it will also make this active, and I can draw my my roof level here. So I'll click escape, I'll click escape until the command is gone. Now, from this level, of course, we know that this is going to be our roof level. From the first floor, we are given also a space of 3.5. From ground to first floor is 3.5. From first floor to roof is also going to be 3.5. So you add 3.5 by 3.5. That means our roof will start from 7 meters above the ground. So we shall click here, we shall say this is our roof level. This is going to be our roof level, and we are going to give it 7 meters above. So this is now our roof level. You can see our levels are clearly marked and set, from foundation to ground, from ground to first floor, from first floor to the roof level. So we can close this elevation, and if you come to the floor plans at the project browser, you click on the plus sign, you'll see all these elevations now appear here. We have the roof, we have the ground, we have the foundation and the first floor. However, they are mixed up, they don't look even, or they are not systematically arranged. It doesn't matter, but you'll know where to work. So you should always work on the level where you are. So we are starting with our ground floor. Let me even close this so that you will not get confused. If I close all this, for now I'm going to say cancel, because if I close it, it will because we have not saved this project, it will close our project and we shall start again. So first thing first, we need to save this project. If you want to save a new project, you come to file. From files, you come to save as. You click on this. Even if you just highlight on it, it will show you these options. Me, I'll choose project. You can choose project template, but I advise you to choose project because projects can come handy. For example, if you open your Revit for the first time, you'll be able to see the projects you have done before in your Revit, but you can't see templates. Templates are one-time thing. So I will click on project. I am going to save it, of course, in my PC. I'm looking for my YouTube. So we have other projects that we have done before. You can see the YouTube project 1 and the YouTube story building. These are 2 projects you can check out. So let's rename this. I don't know the kind of name I should give it. I'll say YouTube third. Just that, YouTube third. I guess this one makes sense because this is our third project for my YouTube subscribers. So we shall click on save. So our project has been saved. Now we shall come to our project browser and then double click on the ground floor, because that's where we're going to start our work from. Now I can close this east elevation. It will not ask you that question again. Now from here, first things first, I already have my floor plan, but of course we are going to start everything from scratch with you. You'll be able to see how we organize floor plans, how rooms flow, how the functionality of the rooms will be. Because every room has to be functional, every room should have access to natural light, every room, every space will be functional. That is what we want to achieve. We are not just going to model a house anyhow, but we want to create something that is functional, that can even be purchased. We can sell it out to a client, and we make money out of it. So we are starting with our wall. Of course, that is always the first thing you start building your wall. So for you to build a wall, you come to this architectural tab. When you click on that architectural tab, you see wall. Wall is always the first thing. Of course, after the wall is door, and then the rest continue like that. So from the wall, you click on this drop downer, and then you select the wall architectural. We have a wall structure, wall by face, but we are going with the wall architectural. Click on that, and then it will give you the basic wall that is generated by Revit. But of course, that's not what we are going to use. We want to create our own custom wall. When you click on this drop down, you'll see all these different kinds of walls, up to curtain wall exterior. There's the curtain wall, storefront. All these walls are there from Revit, but we don't want them. We want our own walls. Now, for you to create your own wall, you just click on this edit type. you see this edit type here, you click on it, then it will give you this interface or this window. So from here, the first thing you're supposed to do is to duplicate this wall. Because this is the generic wall, we are creating a duplicate of it with our own uh, standards. So we shall click on duplicate. You can rename it anything you want. So we're going to write, for me I'll write main wall, because this is going to be my main wall or our main wall, and I want the thickness to be 200 millimeters thick. You can choose to write the millimeters here, you can leave it out. Basically this is just renaming. Me, I want to rename it so that I'll know this is the wall, I gave it this kind of thickness. So after renaming this wall the way you want, you just click OK. Now after here, you come to this edit. We shall go to the edit tab, you click on it and it will show you this window that is having all these kind of things. If you look at the first layer, it is showing numbers that's from 1 up to 6. The second layer or the second row, I don't know if it is called a row or column, it is showing functions. Then after functions, we have the material. From material, we have the thickness. From the thickness, we have wraps, we have structural material, we have variables. But we are going to focus mainly on the functions, material, and the thickness. And you see on this upper side, it is showing the exterior side. On the downside, it is showing the interior side of the walls. So if you come to the edit family above here, it is showing the family's basic wall. The type is this wall that we renamed the main wall. The total thickness for now is this. The resistance is that. Thermal mass, all that. But we're going to clean up this space because this is not what we want. We want to have only 2 finishes on either sides of the main wall, and we shall have a structure. So you can see these buttons here are going to help us to move these things. For example, we are going to remove this thermal air. You click on this number, it will highlight it as black. Then you can click on this button that says delete, it will delete that. So now we're going to move this finish down by 1 step, and I'll also click on this down finish. I move it up by 1 step. Now you see we have this finish, we have the struct, we have this finish, we have the structure, we have another finish. Of course, there's core boundary and core boundary. So you'll ignore these core boundaries because you can't delete them. These are by default and their thicknesses are 0, so they will not affect any measurements you give here. So you ignore them, but you organize your structures the way I've done mine. I have a finish on one side, another finish on the other side. The structure is now the main wall. That's the wall that is built with the brick. So it acts as the main wall, and these finishes have both the plaster and the paint on either sides of the main structure. So we're going to change the materials for these. So I will start with the structure. When you come to material tab here, you just click on it, it will generate this material area, and we're going to create our custom material. For you to create a new material, you come to this icon that shows a 0 sign or a round object plus with a plus sign. You click on this drop down, then you say create a new material, then it will create a new material. Here you right click on it, you rename this material. So we're going to say this is the main wall, right? This is going to be our main wall material. This is going to be our main wall material. After renaming this, you see there's on your right side, there's identity, there's graphics and appearance. From the graphics, we are going to ignore it because the graphics is basically how you see the structure in a shaded form. Then we shall come to the appearance. From the appearance, you come to this icon. This icon is called replace this asset. It's for replacing assets. So when you click on it, it will generate the asset browser. So in this asset browser, you can search for the material you want in the search bar. Of course, we want a brick. That's what we are going to use to build our house. So you just search for that. It will generate for you all kinds of bricks. Then the type of bricks we want are the masonry. So I'll click on this masonry and we look for the brick we want. Really, I am going with this common brick, and that is the kind of brick we want. It is the common one that is mostly available in the market. Of course, when you are designing, you need to design with the materials that you know the client is going to achieve or purchase. So if you go with something that is not achievable, then your design will not make sense. You need to understand that the client is going to use money to build this house. So is the material you have used affordable, or is it common in the market, or is the client going to export it all the way from China? So you need to understand these things. So we're going with the common brick. Then I'll just tap here to close this part. Then our material is here. You can see the display. So from here, I'll just click on apply. Then I'll say okay. Now we have our structure, but of course we need to give it a finish. That is a plaster on one side and a plaster on the other side. We can start with the exterior. We're going to click here. Then we shall also create a new material. Of course, this one comes with the paint and all that stuff. So I will right click on it. I will rename it as main wall paint. That's what I want to call it, main wall paint. As we did before, this time we are going to the graphics first, because the graphics will show us what we have in a shaded form. If you just leave it, it will show you this gray color, but I don't like this gray color. For now, I want to go with the white color. I want to start with white. I'll go with something really, really white. So I'll click OK. That is for the graphics. Then the appearance, I'll click on this icon again to generate the asset browser. So we're going to look for paint. Just search for paint and wait for what they give you. So we have all kinds of paints here. We have default, we have finish, material, metallic paint. Let's see what they have in material. They have these kind of materials, but I think we're going with wall paint. I see wall paint here. All these paints are here. Let's look for this wheat. There's another wheat. Of course, we don't want these things to confuse us. We shall just go with any. So for now, I'll go with this wheat that I've chosen. But you can choose and you can take your time to look for the kind of paint you want. So I'll close this browser. I'll say apply and apply. That is for one side of the wall. We're going to the other side of the wall. So we shall click on it again. Of course, this time, instead of creating a new material, I will go with the main wall paint that we have created. So I will say main wall. I'll just search for main wall paint so that I have the same paint on both sides. However, we can change that later. So it is here, the wall, the main wall paint. I'll just click OK. Then I'll say OK. So now we are done with that. Here we shall apply. Then we shall say OK. Now our main wall is set. That means we are ready to start drawing the wall. By default, you see your cursor will turn to a plus sign. That means you can click to enter wall start point. So our first wall is going to be here. Let me just draw a wall here. We shall do the measurements later. So I'll click on that. That is our first wall. So it's the main wall, and I want my walls to, I think I'm just going to draw another wall. You know, we used this create similar button to create something in our elevation, and we are going to use it again. For you to have it active, you click on the wall, it will generate all these tools. So I'll go and click on it, create similar. I'll just create another wall here. That is, we now have two walls here. So with these two walls, we can actually finish building our walls for the entire house with these two walls, because we shall be offsetting and stuffs like that. So from here, we are going to start measurements now. We want to create, first of all, I'm going to delete this part and this part. For you to do that, you can select both walls, then you can come to, of course, this part, or you can even click on one wall. You come to this part that says trim slice extend to corner. When you click on that, you can extend this to this. It will delete off the excess part. If you didn't understand that, I just clicked on this trim slice extend to corner. The shortcut is TR. If you can just click on TR, it will give you these options. When you click on it, you click on the walls you want to preserve. You need to understand that, because this thing confuses so many people a lot. They sometimes click on anyhow. For you, you think because you are just going to trim off this side, you click anywhere, but you need to click on the sides you want to reserve or preserve. For example, if I click on this side, you see this wall is from here up to this side, and Revit will understand that where these walls intercept, this side is a different side, that side is a different side, this side is a different side, and this side is a different side. So the side that you click with the trim to extend to corner will be preserved. For example, if I click on this and this side, you see it will delete this other side of the walls. So because we want to preserve this side and this side, we want these extensions gone, we shall click on this side, and this side, it will take off this side. So you need to understand that very well before it confuses you. So we shall escape a few times so that we are back to 0, and we continue with our drawings. Now we're going to offset this wall at 5.8 meters. So you can click on the wall, it will generate for you this menu. We have this offset, you see here, it is called offset tool, and the shortcut is OF. When you click on OF, you get the offset. So when you click on the offset, and here you are going to see the offset number. Want to offset this wall by 5.8. When you write 5.8 and you put M like that, and you click enter, it will convert it to millimeters. That is 5,800 millimeters. So you click on the wall that you want to offset, it will create for you another wall here. Now you realize when we get the measurement for this, it is not going to be 5.8 as we measured, because the wall, first of all, also takes the thickness of the space, also takes away the thickness of the wall. However, I have realized one mistake here with our walls. Remember, when we came to edit type and we came to edit, we decided to give materials for our walls, but we did not give the thickness of our walls. Now you realize one paint is having 102.5 thickness, which is really quite abnormal. We're supposed to give thickness. My bad, I take responsibility for this. So these are the kinds of mistakes you will encounter along the way, but you are supposed to give thickness to your walls. So in this thickness tab, you just click on this. Of course, our plaster plus the paint is supposed to be just 10 millimeters. Then the same on the other side, 10 millimeters. Then the thickness of the wall is going to be 180 to make a total of 200. You remember we said our wall is supposed to be 200 millimeters thick. Now, if you add 10 plus 180 plus 10, that will give us 200. So this is the thickness of our wall. Yours can be thicker than this or less than this. It depends again to your design and the kind of materials you are going to use. This is a common brick, that's why my thickness is taking this thickness, this dimensions. But if you are building with a block and different kinds of bricks, you will not use the same thickness as I have used here. So we're going to click OK, shall apply and OK, and you see our walls have changed now. The thickness is no longer as much as it was before. And if we click here, remember we said the distance from, we offset this to this at 5.8, but here it is showing 5.6. That means the 200 has been taken by the thickness of the wall. However, we want our uh, distance to still be 5.8. So we shall have to move away from that wall thickness. So if you want to do your measurements from wall to wall, you come to this align dimension tool. It is called the align dimension tool, and the shortcut is DI. So the DI is used for aligning, not real aligning, but to measure. It's actually used to measure dimensions or to place dimensions between parallel references or between multiple points. So when you click on it, you can control its behavior a little bit here. So for us, we have wall center lines, but we don't want to measure walls from the center line. We want to measure walls from the faces, because that's basically what constitutes the space inside. So if you're going to measure wall center lines, that means your measurements are going to start from the middle of a wall, which is not going to be the correct case, because this one can confuse you and it will give you spaces that may not be functional. That's why you realize when we gave it 5.8, it will show in us 5.6. That means the 200 is gone, and your client is going to see that you gave them the measurement of 5.8. They will buy something that is supposed to fit in 5.8, and yet practically or functionally your space is 5.6. So you need to take note of that. Here you choose wall faces. So when you click here, it will detect a wall face instead of the wall center. So you click on one side and you click on the other side, then you can click anywhere in the middle to make this stand there. So we're going to escape a bit. Now you can see our measurement is okay. Please make sure you always save your project, because when you lose this project now, it may likely take you back to default. You start afresh. So it is always good to save. You can just use Ctrl S to keep saving your work. That's if you had saved it before. So now we have 3 walls drawn so far, and we are continuing. So we are going to offset this side. We come to the offset, and then we are also offsetting 5.8 on the right side like that. Let's do our measurements. You come to your aligned dimension, you select this face and this face, and you click here. You see it is giving us 5.6. However, we don't want that, we want 5.8. So what I am going to do, you should also take note of the wall that you are clicking to change the dimension. For example, if I click on this wall, that means when I change the dimension, it will only affect this side, not this side of the wall. You see this arrow here, this will take the effect of the measurement we are going to give. So if you want to increase this thing to 5.6 and you click on this wall will move outside. If you click on this one, it will move outside. So you need to know the wall that you want to move, because if you move them anyhow, it may, with the time, you realize it can affect your project, especially if certain walls are supposed to remain where they are. So for me, I'm moving this. For now, we have the freedom to really move anyhow. So 5.8. So our space has been created here, 5.8 by 5.8. So basically, that is how you can create a wall and do all the measurements. So we are going to see this design we have created so far in 3D. So if you want to see your design in 3D, at the top of the menu bar, you'll see this default 3D view. It shows as a house. When you click on this drop down, it will show you the default 3D view, the camera, the walkthrough, but we are going with the default 3D view. When you click on that, it will show you this house. This is the house we have built so far, and the walls are really tall. And by default, Revit will always measure your walls at 8 meters high. So when I click here and I come to the properties, you'll see the unconnected is 8 meters high. But if you are keen, we said our walls are going to, or our levels are going to be 3.5 meters high. That means we are going to manually change this to 3.5. So from the 3D view, you can select one wall, then you right click on it. You come here to select all instances, then you select visible in view, because we want to select all these walls that are visible in view. Then we come to these properties. At the unconnected state, we write our 3.5 meters. Click enter. It will bring our walls to 3.5, and you see here it starts from the ground floor to the first floor. That is how we set our walls. So this is our 3D view of so far. When we come back to our ground floor, I'm going to save that command because I don't want to lose it again. So from here now we are going to move a little bit faster because I needed to be really slow at the setting stage, because it's very important to understand how you start up. Startup is always key. Along the way, we are going to interact with all these tools, and it will allow us to understand more and work easily with them. So we are going to, of course, handle another side of the project. I mean, of course, we are going to start creating more walls. So I want to offset this wall. I'm going to offset it at 4 point, at 4, right? Yeah, I just want to offset it at 4. So I'll come to offset. I'll say we are going with 4 meters, 4M, that is it. Then I'll come here and offset it on the right, 4 meters. Then of course I want to measure it and really see that it is 4 meters. Don't want to be cheated. You see here it is giving us 3.8. So we shall click on this, then change this to 4 meters. We don't want to be cheated. Then of course, I'll extend this wall a little bit. You can click on the wall. When you see this dot sign, you can pick it and drag it all the way you want. You can click on this, drag it all the way, and drag it up to where you want there. Then well, let's continue. So from this side, I am going to offset this side of the wall, this one specifically, by 5.5. So I'll come to my offset. I'll say I'm offsetting this by 5.5. I'll keep writing 5.5 m or 5,500. These are the same things. One is in millimeters, the other is in meters. So if I'm offsetting this by 5.5, of course it is not going to give me what I want, because I want this side to be a little bit outside. If you see our design properly, we have this one a little bit outside, but we are going to take care of that. For now, let's do that. So I'll offset that. Now if you want to delete this side of the wall, there's a way. You can just come to the toolbar. After selecting the wall, there's this split tool, or you can say split element, and the shortcut is SL. When you click on it, you can click anywhere. It will split that wall into two parts. This side becomes a different wall, this side becomes a different wall. So you can click on this and delete. That is it. That is how easily you can delete something. However, I want this wall to be a little bit outside, so that it can give us some kind of beautiful design outside here. So I'm going to offset it further. I want to offset it by let's say 3 meters. Click on 3 meters outside. I'll click on that, and then of course here I want it really 3 meters. Then I'm going to delete this part, or even measure this to this. Okay, let's measure from here to here. Then you click there to keep the measurement active. And then I'll click on this wall. Now I'll give my 5.5 here, 5.5 meters. That is it. So I'll take away this. You can of course come to the split as we did before. You split it there, then you delete the excess part, just like that. So I want this wall to align with this, or they have to move together. So to do that, you remember our trim slice extend to corner. So you click on it, which is here, trim slice extend to corner, or TR. Click on it. You click on this wall, and then you see when you highlight to the next, it will draw a line here. So this line will tell you that this wall is going to connect with this one. You connect. So there they have connected. So this one, the excess part, I can just drag and bring it here. When you see these lines, this center line is drawn, you can leave it there. So this is the file we have drawn our house. So from here, we are going to draw another space from this side to here for a staircase. So I'm going to leave 2 meters. I'll offset 2, say 2m here for the staircase. Then I'll of course want to have the 2 meters as 2 meters. We don't want to be seated, so we shall click on this wall. You realize right now I just pick the dimension or the align dimension tool without telling you, because by now I expect you to know it now. I've used it quite a number of times here to measure spaces. So anytime you see I get a measurement like this, that means I've used the aligned dimension tool. So I click here, I'll change this to 2 meters because that's what we want for the staircase. So we are going to cut off this part. We come to our split element tool or the SL tool. So I'll come at the center, we click and we take away this excess part. So now we have created space for the staircase, and we're going to create a space for our common washroom. It will be around this staircase. We want to create a common washroom, and the common washroom is not going to take a lot of space. We shall come to offset or the OF. I will just give a space of 1.5 for the common washroom. There I'll offset this wall. Then I'll come to my aligned dimension. I'll take the measurements. I'll see if it is correct. It is not. Then I will click on this. Then I will say I want this to be 1.5, just like that. So space for our common washroom has been created. Let's continue. So we're going to create our master bedroom. Of course, the master bedroom is always the biggest room, the biggest bedroom. Actually, not the biggest room, but it is the biggest bedroom. We have other bigger rooms like the living room, which is supposed to be the biggest, of course. The living room is supposed to be the biggest room in the house. And then it will be followed by probably the dining or the master bedroom. So the master bedroom is going to be 5.5 by 4.8. So we're going to offset 4.8. Come to the offset. By now you should now know the offset tool or the OF tool. So we're giving it 4.8 here. I'll go with that. I'll offset this side. But of course, you know this is not 4.8. You come to your aligned dimension. For measuring, you measure the two parallel lines, and then you click on that, you give it 4.8. For now, you know that I always know which wall to click when I'm measuring or when I'm giving my new measurement. I clicked on this, not this, because this side is already set. That means I can't confuse this side again. That's why I click this side, because I'm still moving that side. I still have the privilege to move that side, but I don't have the privilege to come to this side because I've already finished measuring this side. So that's why you understand now the kind of walls I click when I'm giving my perfect measurements. You don't just click walls anywhere. You click the wall that still has the freedom to move. So this side of the house looks to be really done. So we are going to design our space inside here. We want to create the dining. I'm going to create the dining room. The dining will also start a little bit outside because we want it to have access to natural light. So I'm going to offset this wall. I'm going to offset it by, I guess, just 2 meters, a little bit, not even 2. I can say 1.5 probably there, 1.5 outside. Of course, this is going to extend a little bit here. Then inside, I'll offset it by 5. So I'll say here 5 meters. However, you realize for the dining, we might not really need that measurement. Okay, let's just put 0 there so that it will anyways. let's say 5 meters. So when you click here, it will give us that. I'm just doing this because the command is refusing for us to leave. So I'm going to split using the split tool. I'll split it here. I'll delete that part. Most times dinings are really open concepts. I'm going to link this wall to this. That means this side will go. So when I click on my trim slash extend to corner, click on this. When I click here, you see it is going to change this direction to this side. My screen is screen touch. I have touched it, so it has gone. If your walls are coming closer to this elevation, you don't have to cry, you don't have to worry, you don't have to panic. You can just click on it or highlight it, and with your arrow keys you can move it further away from the walls, so they don't have to limit your working space. So you can move them as far as you want. This space, actual, all these areas are yours for use, so you don't have to worry of this space. However, you realize you don't even need a lot of space like that. So this is how far we have gone. Then I want to create my kitchen. You see this wall here, I'm going to extend it to this wall. So I will come to my trim slash extend. I will extend this wall to this. Then from here we are going to create our kitchen. The kitchen, I'm going to offset this wall by I think 2.2 can do for us. Of course, the kitchen is going to be a little bit long and slim. Then from the kitchen, let's first see where the dining is going to stop. So the dining is supposed to be 5 meters. Let's see if we have the 5 meters from here to here. So this side is going to be 5 m. Then we're going to offset this from this side by 4 meters. So we're going to offset here 4 meters this side. I'm just doing this to have a standard measurement for the kitchen, so that we can see where to put it or place it. So this is supposed to be 4 meters, so that people have enough space for enjoying food. So this wall comes to this, and then this wall comes to this wall goes to that. So we are, instead of taking it like that, I can use the trim to extend, and I'll extend that to chop off that part. Now the kitchen is going to extend a little bit outside this side. So we're going to offset this wall, and I am going to offset it by, I think, 5 can really do 5 meters, not just 5 meters. Yes, and then I'll have this extended to that, and then I'll have this extended to this, not that, I clicked on the wrong side. I'll extend this to this, just like that. And we want to create want to ensure that this is really 5, then this is really 2.2. So you realize they are not what we have given, so this has to go to 5, then this has to go to 2.2, just like that. So this wall, this one here, is going off. I'm going to split it I'll split it here. Come on, split it here. So we shall delete this because we want this to be an open space for enjoying food. Yeah. Then we need a store. We need a store. So we're going to have a very small store here, or you can call it pantry. We're going to move it by 1.8. 1.8 seems to be really big. Let's say we're having a pantry of 1.8. Just here. Looks to be really a lot, but it's okay. Let's bring this with the trim extend, just like that. This pantry is too big, my friend. Really big. Even though it is not 1.8, it is still big. So I'll bring it to 1.3, just like that. And then I'll save this project. So we are going to create some 2 more rooms. We're going to create some 2 more rooms this side of this building, and the rooms are going to start from this kitchen side. Okay, now these rooms are going to be 5.6 by 5.6. Those are how do you call it? Those are bedrooms. So I'm going to offset this by 3.6. You come to your offset, you go to 3.6, you offset this side, then you come to your aligned dimension to ensure that it is really giving us what we want, the measurements the way they are. So we are going to ensure that this one is truly 3.6. Then we're going to ensure this side is also 3.6, just like that. Then we want to create another one, just like this side. So we are going to offset this wall 3.6, just there. Then I will make sure with our aligned dimension, the dimension is perfect. So this has to be truly 3.6, just like that. And then of course we have all these walls here crossing lines the way they want, but this is not what we want to have here. So we're going to reduce these walls and see where we can improve. So a lot of this is going to be done with the trim / extend to corner. We shall extend this to this corner, we shall extend this to this corner, shall extend this to this corner. So we are left with this one here that is tall this side. I think we can add a drag, or if you want to look a bit modernize, you click on the split element, you split it here instead of dragging like a normal person. So when we save this project, you see that is what we have so far, with all the measurements the way they are supposed to be. This is here. So we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this, all that, all the way. Now you realize we have a huge chunk of space in the middle here. But you know what we're going to do for this space? You are not supposed to have a dead space in your house. Not at all. When you're designing, you don't have a dead space. Every space must be functional, and every space must have access to natural light. That means we have this problem to solve. Now, to solve this problem, it's a little bit simple, if I may say. We are going to make use of this space with this bedroom here. We shall extend this bedroom a little bit inside, right? So I'll extend it a little bit inside, maybe here to leave a small corridor to go to the dining, things like that. Let's say we are creating a wall here. You can create a similar wall. You just click on any wall, you come to our create similar. You remember it? I hope you do. So you create a wall here. Then I'm going to, of course, do my align the dimension. That 3.1.3 can be enough or too big even to have a corridor. So I'll bring it to 1.2. From 1.2, we want to go to 3.6 with our offset tool. Or before, with our offset tool, we are offsetting something here, 3.6. We go with our dimension tool, align the dimension. We want to see that this is really 3.6. We select this one, we take it to 3.6, just like that. Then we are going to have another space here to come this side for these people to access these rooms the way they have been created. So this is where you have to now think. So let me first extend this to this. I could have left that interior space for the kids, right? For this, it could act as a sitting room, because in a house you can have both the living room and the sitting room. I still believe we can do that, because I'm seeing here the way we are doing this thing, we might get into more trouble than having this space as either the sitting room or the living room. So now that we have created that, I can delete this wall. Yes, I can delete this wall. Since we have this can help us to create a natural light for this room. Then I am going to delete this wall. So this wall must go. We are campaigning against this wall. This wall must really go. So I'm going to bring it all the way here. Then we have run into big trouble. Revit is warning us that these walls are not joining, but of course we want to unjoin them. We don't want them to join, because what we are going to do, we are going to first of all delete this wall, because this side is going to be kitchen, and then this bigger side is going to be what we call our sitting room, or we can say this is sitting room, this is living room. So either way we shall have these two rooms here. The sitting room, if you don't understand the difference between a sitting room and the living room is where you are going to have your kids watch TVs and do their playing stuffs. Then we have the sitting room where the big men or the owners of the house come with the visitors. They go and sit, they can have their time, the good times in the sitting room. Sometimes you can have an open sitting room concept where you even have an island kitchen in the sitting room. So those are different. There's also what we call the family room. The family room, you can have all these rooms in a single building. You can have the living room, the sitting room, and the family room. So the family room is where You gather as a family, you can play board games, you can do a lot of things. The setup is also different from a sitting room where you basically come with your colleagues, you have your meetings, you can have your time basically watching soccer. Then the living room is basically where the kids are going to be practically involved much more. So you see these walls here, these walls are not linking up. However, because we are going to have this kitchen as an open concept, that means we can do away with this wall, right? So that the kitchen is free and we can extend this wall to this one, and the complaint will practically be gone. The complaint will be gone. But we have another problem. Now this room is 6 point. If you delete this side and you do this measurement from here like this, our room is now 2.6 by 3.6, but we want it by 3.6 by 3.6. So that means this room will now have to extend a little bit outside the normal boundaries here. So we are going to extend this wall. We offset it. We can just offset it in any kind of measurements we want, but of course we shall bring it back after doing our aligned dimension here. Of course we want it at 3.6, just like that. Then we shall trim to extend this to this corner, and then we shall trim this to this corner. And then this wall we are going to split it using the SL or the split tool. Splitting, we want this wall gone. Which one is being want to split this one? Let's see, did we split it? No, we split the splitting, that's a different wall. So we're going to drag this wall like normal people. We just drag and bring it there, just like that. We have all these spaces created. Now we have this, we have our living room, either the living room or the common so I'm measuring this to be sure which one should be as the living room. So you realize that this one is bigger than this, so we shall have this open space as the sitting room for the kids to play around. We shall have this as the the sitting room for the owners of the home, and we shall have our main door here. The door will enter direct to the sitting room where the kids are. You need to first go inside the house before you can access the sitting room. The sitting room is going to be here. So this is our first bedroom, this is our second bedroom, this is our kitchen, this is the pantry, this is the dining area, this is the master bedroom. The master bedroom for me is looking a little bit small. It's looking a little bit small, but I think I will give it 5.5 here again. 5.5. You know, master bedroom is supposed to be really big because it is the master and it's the one that is going to be occupied by the master. So this is it for our ground floor. These are the rooms that we want to have in our ground floor, and I think for now we shall leave it at that, because when we come back we shall come and finish this first floor. Shall make sure we have the staircase, we have these washrooms, the washrooms in the bedrooms, and all the furnishing for the ground floor. We shall finish it, and we shall continue drawing our floors to the first floor. When you finish with the first floor, in the first floor we are going to have the family room. We shall have the family room, we shall have the prayer room, we shall have an office, maybe plus one bedroom, just one bedroom. Then when we get done with that, we shall come back to facade and we shall come and beautify this house and achieve our desired looks. So if you have been with us from the start, that is where we're going to stop for today, and that is where the project has stopped. I believe you have learned a lot. See you again in the second part of this project. Thank you so much.